And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics.
Now we turn to our Android Basics section, and regular listeners will know we've been occasionally revisiting categories of apps that we've covered in previous years to see what they're like in 2025. And this week, we are looking at music players, and we thought as part of this, we'd look at the merits of online versus offline playback. Warren, are you a big music player guy?
So, I'm not necessarily a music kind of guy. I do have lots of music, though. Now, my bias may be showing here, maybe from the old school CDs, MP3 players, all of that, 9-yard, whatever stuff. Now, frankly, when it comes to music playback, whatever, streaming music, whatever, I'm more of an offline kind of guy. I have never been into the craze of the online streaming. Spotify, I'm looking at you. I've never had a Spotify account and had never streamed a single tune from Spotify. So go figure. And neither have I done anything with maybe like Deezer or some of those other online streaming services. The only streaming service that I had once upon a time, and even I bought a tune or two, album or two, believe it or not, was Amazon Music. But then, of course, I was able to download that. It was a South African group that I was kind of interested in. So I subscribed to Amazon Music because I found it on there and I downloaded it. And then, of course, the Play Music of old, if you guys remember Google Play Music, that came inbuilt with the phone, of course. So I bought a few albums, actually a lot of them from Google Music or Music Player or whatever that thing was back then. But mostly, I am more of an offline kind of guy. And so I got gigs and gigs of locally stored music on my device. And I'm kind of looking at the time when we had to travel across the country and we were gone for 33 days. Now, with kids and streaming, playback that music locally, if I was streaming, I would have been in trouble because we reached areas like places even here in the eastern part of my state, Montana, Wyoming, and, central U.S. like Nebraska, Iowa. And, basically all those areas were just dead zones that if we were streaming, no one would have had any music. So for me, frankly, I kind of believe in the local storage. Yes, the online stuff is great. But I don't know. I'm old school, Ed. I'm always kind of going back to that locally stored music as my preferred. That's speaking from my bias.
And what offline players do you use?
So when it comes to offline players, just like other apps that I usually have like multiple, because I happen to be one of those that don't believe in one app because there may be certain things that it doesn't do well and then the other one would do something better. And so as a result, for me, I always want to make sure that I have more than one app for something. And so I have, for example, I have Powermp is probably one of the ones I like. And then I have that thing called Music Collect. Karen, you probably know how that thing is pronounced. I have that. I have, I should have looked at my other players, but I have I probably have 5 or 6 different other offline players that I have on my device when it comes to music playback. And there was another one that I had earlier on, going back to maybe like 2015 or whatever. It was the only one that played FLAC. If you have a FLAC file, it was the only one that did that. But lots of them now tend to be capable of playing those other formats. And so, as I indicated, I like Powermp, but then I have other ones as well for my local music playback.
And how about you, Karina? Are you an online or an offline girl for music?
Well, I'm like Warren. Let's say that we're from an old generation. Okay, we are not the same generation, but we are still considered like from the old generation. So yeah.
You better not be in my generation, Karen.
Yeah, I said it so people don't think that I'm from your generation.
Oh, brother.
So actually, I prefer offline music players. Maybe that started because of the poor internet connection here, and we used to have like serious troubles sometimes. Even sometimes when we were trying to stream like simple stuff, low quality music. So for that reason, I think this could be considered as a factor in my decision. And other than that, I don't know. I like to have my files as files that I can transfer easily between, like, for example, my PC and my phone, and then when I get a new phone to transfer them. Okay, I know you can tell me, okay, you can just transfer your library if you're subscribed to a certain streaming service. Yeah, but I don't want to subscribe. This is the first thing. And then whatever happens, and just you lose everything that you had collected all over the years. So it's something I hate to feel, I hate to think about, actually. And also you will be linked to like one or two services you want to be a subscriber. So this is not something that I like to be linked to. And other than that, I'm not really a heavy music listener. So yeah, I listen sometimes when I'm doing something that doesn't need my full concentration, sometimes while I'm in the car or something, but it's not something that I do a lot of the time. I mean, listening to music. So for that reason also, I can say that I'm well with the files that I have. And regarding the music players that I use, mainly I use GoneMad Music Player. I bought it several years ago, but now it's free. It's ad supported, so people can use it. I don't know if it's still possible to do in-app purchases to remove the advertisements. I'm not sure. But for people who have already bought the app, it's already going to work without any ads, because the purchase will be considered by the developer, and this will just make it ad-free. Should be ad-free forever for people who have purchased the app before. But it's free, and I think it has a lot of customization options. This makes it one of my favorite music players. To be honest, usually we just get too used to things to the point that even if we try something else, maybe it has something better in a certain aspect, but we are just returning back to the thing that we are used to. So, and this is true with respect to music players. So I'm always going back to GoneMad. However, I keep VLC because it's the best one that can handle file types, different file types. There are file types, I think nothing else other than VLC is able to handle them correctly. And another music player I have, believe it or not, is the music player that comes with the CX File Explorer. It's a good one. They added the ability to increase the speed quickly while on pressing when you are listening to something, and I usually listen to many things double speed, so it's for me a good feature that made me use the app more. So when I'm playing something quickly, I use the music player that comes with the CX File Explorer, and many people may not need something else other than the music player that comes with the file manager. And there are many file managers that come with music players. I think Google has a music player as well, right? The Google Files.
Yeah, it will play your music as well. Yeah, indeed it does. Now, Karen, talking about something you mentioned, you kind of jolted my memory because now I remember I do have that VLC. I also have MX Player. Then I have the Shuttle Music Player. I have the folder player or whatever folder music player. And so I also have M. I think M was the one that supported FLAC first back like in 2015 that I was talking about earlier on. And
You mean
yeah,
Winamp?
indeed.
You mean Winamp?
No, no, not Winamp. This thing was M, AIM,
Okay.
AIMP or something like that. But it was the only one then back then. Yeah, talking about Winamp, didn't they come? Was it last year? There was something about Winamp. I wasn't sure if that was real or if it was a fakery, if it was something that someone was faking to be Winamp for Android. But last year, I believe it was that we had Winamp's return to the Play Store. Did anyone verify it? I wasn't very keen on it. I know I talked about it, but I was a little bit apprehensive, so to speak.
Yeah, it is the Winamp app.
Did you try it? Was it real, Karen?
Yeah, it is. But actually, it's so much
But it
different
was
than the
bad.
one that. It was terrible, not bad, because all buttons are unlabeled. I don't know currently what's the state. I don't know if Ed has any information about it. But when I tried it maybe like a few months ago, it was not the music player that you would like to use, actually. I'm talking about accessibility, actually.
Yeah, and that's
No,
really
I've not
sad
used
because
it. I haven't looked
yeah,
at it.
and believe it or not, I still have it on my Windows because I mean it's old, but I prefer Winamp, on my Windows. And so when I heard about it, finally coming back to Android last year, I just tried it. It just wasn't good. It was just bad, and I'm surprised that they still haven't fixed it. Ed, how about you? Which one is
So,
your?
yeah, I do have streaming services, although even though they will support offline playback, I use Spotify particularly because I get the free Amazon Music through Prime, but it's not great because it shuffles and you can't play albums and stuff. So I pay for Spotify, and we have the family plan, and it's pretty good. I know some people don't really like the sound quality of Spotify, but I'm not too fussy about that. So yeah, I use that. I think it can access your local music as well. Obviously, you can't access your Spotify music and move it around. So I will use Spotify, probably the most. Although if I'm buying music, I'll either use Qobuz or Apple Music for that. So although I can't, although the high-end audio I'm not too fussed about, Qobuz does do that. That will sell you the high-res audio, large download FLAC stuff. So often you can get different sample rates. So if you like doing that to buy your music, then Qobuz is the place to have a look at if it's available. But no, I stream mainly. I'll only buy the odd album. For offline or for standard players, I don't use that many. As you say, Corinne, I've got GoneMad as well, and I'll sometimes use the media capabilities of CX File Explorer, which is the file manager I used as well that you recommended on here a while back. So I tend to use CX. Ones that we haven't mentioned and people might be interested in, if you're interested in casting your music from various sources, including the cloud, you could have a look at BubbleUpNP, which I know a lot of people use. I don't use it, but it seems to be a fairly popular app as well that you might want to have a look at.
And talking about things that are already on our phone, for example, the YT music is there on my phone. And now and then I use it because let's face it, no one has more music than YouTube has. And so I found some odd stuff, talking about my generation, Carrie, going back years then. Certain songs that, from long time ago, songs from maybe 20s. I'm not from the 20s, but I'm kind of crazy like that. If I want to hear something odd, and I had some offline recordings from like the 1920s music back then, it's so hard to hear what the lyrics are, because the recording, I mean, let's face it, it was absolutely bad, atrocious. But so YouTube Music, has some of those because, like I said, I think they have the biggest library than anyone else. And so I do have that as well. So when it comes to Cloud Music Player, for example, that's another one that I occasionally would use.
Speaking of streaming services, it's important to mention that many of them offer the free plan. Actually, it will be limited. That's for sure. Sometimes you can't decide what do you want to listen when it comes to playlists or something. Sometimes, like YouTube Music, you can't, for example, turn off the screen and keep listening. As far as I know, right? This is also with YouTube Music. So those limitations, for some people, are fine. They can just deal with them. Also, you might need to deal with some advertisements. But sometimes some people just want to listen occasionally to some things and stuff. So those three options could be the ones that they need. So it's better for someone to just check and see what they really need before deciding where to go. And actually, we have to mention as well YouTube, the YouTube app, because it's easy to find a lot of audios on YouTube, a lot of things maybe coming also. The ones that you were talking about your generation and in 1920s, were you just 20 years old at that year? But actually,
I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so actually people could also go to YouTube and give it use it for streaming music when they want to. And actually, to be honest, there are many options that they can use to play on YouTube while the screen is off. So, and they are just legal, so there's no problem in that. Like NewPipe, for example, which is available on GitHub. And like sometimes using the browsers. I think there are browsers that allow you to just turn off the screen and keep listening.
Talking about turning off the screen and listening to the music, this is why I like browsers like Vivaldi, and I hardly use Brave, but this is why I like those. And I think that the Samsung Internet browser also does. And so especially if I'm listening to something on YouTube, for example, I like documentaries, for example, and I just don't want to be kind of like, keeping my phone on. I hate that. And so I'm not looking at the video necessarily as a blind person. And so for me, though, this is where I employ something like Vivaldi or some other browser that has that capability, thus eliminating the need of keeping my phone screen alive. And so, yeah, mentioning that, Karen, that's a good mention, because that's another way to consume music without keeping your screen on YouTube. So thanks for reminding us of that one.
And do you subscribe to YouTube Music, Warren? Is it another Google product? You should. You like giving Google money.
Well, but I'm El Cheapo. Don't forget that. I'm very El Cheapo. And so I don't. And frankly, if I'm not going to be listening to lots and lots of music and all of that, what's the point? Now, I wouldn't mind it if it was like $5 a month, but what is it, like $11 or is it $14? I don't remember. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime soon.
No.